Hey there, it's Lori here, and I'm coming to you today with a video for my favorite things, Camp Create. Today we are going to do a couple of ombre techniques, pretty simple things to do to make a fun card. So the first thing that you need obviously is your card base. This is a separate card front which we're going to cut down. I'm going to use this geometric grid stencil. I'm also going to use the Grateful for You stamp set along with the Grateful die. And I've already cut that out and I've left it in the cardstock here. So first thing, we're going to take the card front and I'm going to tape that down to my cropper hopper divider. I've showed you this before. If you haven't seen these videos, this is what I use to ink, blend, and watercolor and everything. It's a really sturdy surface that's really easy to clean, and so that goes down on top of my my grid mat here. So it's easy to just pick it up and take it away from your workspace, mess and all, and then you have a clean desktop. So I'm going to take this stencil and put it this way. I'm going to use some frog tape to tape this stencil down to my workspace. This stuff works really well. You can find this at Lowe's or Home Depot, or it's just basically painter's tape. You probably don't have to tape down all sides, but I just feel like it's more sturdy if you do. So for the card front, I'm going to use Grout Gray. It's a premium dye ink from My Favorite Things. And I'm also going to use my Clarity brush. I don't want this to be really thick on the front. I just want it to be a very light coat, and so these brushes tend to do the best. I'm using the biggest one I have at the moment because my other ones are already covered in ink and I haven't washed them. So just jumping in here, and I just kind of brush the ink pad, and then it's really easy to just go over the front and just paint big brush strokes wherever you want the ink to go onto your paper. I just want mine to go up at an angle. And it's nice because it doesn't have to be perfect. If you want a thicker or darker look, I should say, you can just keep brushing this over and over until you have a darker color, but it's nice because it just starts out really light. So I'm just checking the edge there just to see how much color I have. I want a little bit more on here. I'm going to take Blueberry, this navy blue ink, and I'm just going to brush a tiny bit on the front. Mix with that gray. It'll just give it a little pop of color, but not too much to where it just looks like I've painted navy blue on the front. So I'm going to just go back over the top of it with gray. Obviously, by starting at the bottom and working your way up, you're going to get that ombre effect. Darker at the bottom and lighter as you go up the card. This would work too with ink blending sponges, just anything to where you're going darker to lighter, obviously, to get that ombre effect. So I'm just going to peel the bottom of this up and pull out my card base, and I can just take this inked up workspace and move it off to the side. So if you can see that card front, there's just a little bit of a blue-gray ombre going from dark to light on the front of the card. Alright, for the Grateful, which will be my main sentiment, I'm going to use my mini Misty. Just a little tip about Misty magnets. If you're moving them around, American Crafts has this metal ruler. I got mine at Hobby Lobby. You can just stick your magnets on this, and I actually just keep it here to the side. That way your magnets don't fly across the room with dies attached. I'm just saying that may have happened a time or two. Anyways, we're going to put this, I've cut this out. I'm going to pop the sentiment out. And then that way I have the negative that I'm going to put here into the Misty. Grab a couple of these magnets. So I'm going to use this Grateful stamp, and I'm just lining this up perfectly inside of that negative. And then I'll pick that up with the other side there. Now I'm going to take the negative, or the die cut, and put it back inside the negative. So what you need for this ombre stamping is 2 or 3 different colors of ink. And then you want to use cosmetic wedges. These are just little foam wedges. And then 1 for each color. So I'm going to start with my lighter ink. And you can cover the whole thing in the light ink if you want to, or just working your way down. I'm going to start with the top and just blot this with this with this foam sponge right on the top of my sentiment here. Then I'm going to take this second sponge, the darker color, and go along the bottom. And the magic of these blenders versus just using your ink pad on the image is this, by going back in over this, it's going to cut down from that sharp line. So you're going to get more of a blended look. And you just want to tap really lightly just to allow those 2 colors to blend together. So the nice thing about this Misty, when you do this when you do this ombre stamping, you can stamp down and then you can go back in, which it actually looks pretty good. But if one of the 2 colors was not dark enough, or if you wanted to add in a 3rd color, you could go back in with some, like a red on the very bottom, and add a 3rd color, or just go back in with another coat. I may just add a little bit more of the light ink here at the top. And then I'm going to pop the sentiment out of the cardstock here. So there's your ombre sentiment. So to put my card together, I've got my A2 card base, I've got a piece of fun foam, and then I have the card front that I'm going to attach to the card. And I'm actually going to do that first. I use ATG to attach the fun foam. And I'll just center that on the card front. And then add some more ATG. And then this will go onto my card front. One thing nice about the fun foam, if you've forgotten to stamp something or later you want to add a stamp, it's a solid front. So bringing in a stamp and stamping on this, it's not going to bow in, and it's a good solid surface. And I have already heat embossed this second part to this sentiment, and I'll just be gluing that right down underneath the word grateful. After I had this part all said and done, I realized I wanted to pop up the word grateful a little bit away from the front of the card. So I've taken some more fun foam and I've run the grateful die through with the fun foam. So I'm going to take this with my tweezers and I'm going to run and spray the back of this over my trash can. So now that I have the back of that sprayed, I'm just going to lay this down right on the sentiment onto the fun foam. So now I'm going to pop this out of here. Alright, so now is the positioning. I'm not quite sure where I want this to go. So I'm just going to lay this down and kind of move it around a little bit. I think I want that to go on top of the black cardstock. So I'm going to take my tape runner and tape that down. And this one I want just to be overlapping just a little. And then I'm going to take this again and put some more spray adhesive on the back. Alright, so that's basically it. Just to create some fun ombre effects on your card. Obviously in the background we did the dark to light, kind of fading out into the white, and then we've added the ombre stamping to the sentiment itself. which is a really fun way to really make those die cuts pop. It's permanent, but it allows for repositioning. So once you have your sentiment down on the fun foam, you can slide it into place. And by leaving the foam in the negative, you should be able to just get that sentiment right where it needs to go. I hope you've enjoyed this video and are having a good time this week at Camp Create. Remember to leave a comment here and you will be eligible to win a $15 voucher from MFT. If you play along with each craft for all 5 days, you'll also be eligible to win the grand prize of a $150 voucher to My Favorite Things. So definitely don't forget to leave a comment, and I hope that you guys can play along. If you have questions, definitely shoot me an email, and I can't wait to see what you create. Thanks for stopping by.